It was mentioned earlier that the term value chain is relatively new to agribusiness. Historically, the term supply chain has been used when discussing the actors that deliver agricultural products or services and how they link together. However, there is a critical difference between supply chains and value chains. Supply chain thinking is generally about how to get products from the producer to the consumer as efficiently and inexpensively as possible. When a supply chain approach is taken, the focus tends to be on how to reduce costs along the chain, including production, processing, transport, marketing and selling costs, and reducing waste. In supply chains, each organisation concentrates on their own business in isolation of the other firms in the chain. They don't think about the needs of their buyer, and certainly not the needs of the end user, the customer and consumer. Generally speaking, businesses in a supply chain aim to maximise their individual benefit or their margin by competing for cheaper imports and negotiating for higher prices. Supply chain actors have a push orientation. It's called that because in a supply chain, the products are being pushed down the chain and onto the market with little or no thought as to whether there is demand for the product. As you can imagine, this can lead to issues. Customers along the chain, particularly the end user, often do not get what they want or need because buyer-seller relationships are focused on costs, price, not adding or creating value. Signals from the end customer are not transmitted back to the upstream actors. Supply chains are likely to lead to waste and inefficiencies. For example, if the upstream producers do not understand or consider the needs of downstream users of their product, then there is a higher likelihood of waste as specifications may not be met. Actors in the chain who are relatively weaker can be exploited and even pushed out of business by more powerful chain members. Size, scale, access to technology and location can all lead to what is called market power. Market power refers to a business's relative ability to manipulate the price of or access to a product to their own advantage. Furthermore, when there is a focus on cutting costs, responsibilities such as food safety and worker and environmental standards may be ignored. This can create social harm or what is called negative externalities. So with a supply chain push orientation, businesses tend to push product without considering the needs of the customer or consumer and what they value. This results in a lack of trust, weak information flows, and difficulty in addressing competitive forces. Supply chains can be inefficient and do not deliver the greatest value for all actors in the chain. In supply chain thinking, the only way for a chain actor to grow their piece of the pie is at the expense of someone else. In a world that is increasingly global and competitive, supply chain thinking simply does not allow the chain actors to be globally competitive.